Okay, this video is going to be about the behavior of waves, specifically about reflection. And reflection occurs when a wave strikes an object and bounces off of it. Now, all waves, including sound, water waves, light waves, they can all be reflected, though we're typically used to the reflection of light waves, as sort of seen in this image here, where the light bouncing off of the mountains and the trees and things gets reflected off of the pond. But in fact, you might have heard myself that the reason that we actually even see the mountain is because light is reflecting off of it into our eyes. And we're used to sort of seeing our reflections in mirrors and things like that. You might also be familiar with the reflection of sound waves in terms of echoes and things like that. So in a reflection, the beam will actually bounce off the reflecting surface. So a very typical reflecting surface that we talk about are mirrors. And that beam is called the reflected beam. So here we have a reflected beam, and here we have the original light beam. And there's a line that we can draw perpendicular to the surface. So here the surface is here. A line perpendicular to that is this one here, and that is called the normal. All right? And the law of reflection states that the angle of incidence, which is going to be the angle between the original light source and the normal, is going to be equal to the angle of reflection, which is the angle between the normal and the reflected beam. And so in this way, you can sort of predict where things will reflect. Similarly, if you can think about it, these two angles on the side here are also equal to each other. And there's different types of reflection that we're going to sort of briefly talk about, but you need to be able to recognize there's this idea of clear reflection where the surface is very smooth, and therefore light coming in all from the same place will all go up at predicted angles like that, okay? And so if I was sort of staring, if this is my eye, if I was staring at this light source, I would see all of the light here. And if I was over here, I wouldn't see any light sort of bouncing back at me. And you sort of experience this when maybe not you might be driving, but maybe your parent is driving, and the rear view mirrors or the side view mirrors, all of a sudden accidentally something just bursts into your eye based on the reflection from the mirror straight into your eye versus not straight into your eye. Diffuse reflection, on the other hand, is where the surface is very rough here. And so even though we have all of these light beams coming from the same source, they're not all getting reflected in exactly the same direction back based on the surface. And so if my eye is over here, I might see only a portion of what is reflected back and not all of it. That's diffuse reflection. So in this image, I actually see specular reflection and diffuse reflection. The original light source might be somewhere up here, and it is hitting the apple. And the area that it's hitting the apple and coming straight back at my eye, if you think about it this way, or you know what, let's draw my eye over here, just think about it. Straight back my eye is this particular one, but the apple surface is not smooth and the apple is rounded. And so there's light beams hitting all these different areas, and some of them are being reflected in all various directions, and the ones that happen to hit my eye, it's not the direct light, so that's why I don't see the apple as white. I see it as red, which is sort of the only thing being reflected back to me at that point. However, this is why if I turn the apple, that white spot will turn with it. And it just depends on at what point and in what direction is the specular reflection happening and all the other things that I'm seeing, which is the light hitting it, but not at a direct angle where it just goes straight to the apple and then straight back to my eye. I see various portions of the light. I see reds and oranges and greens. And this is nicely imagined here in this image. The incident light occurs, and the diffuse reflection happens all around, but specular reflection only happens where, according to the normal, that angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. And so here I might see that white light. Here I might see white light, and all of these other light beams, I might see some color being reflected back, but not all of the light.